Morning, madam.
Good morning. So, can we start?
Okay, madam.
So, I think we had the presentation from last time from everyone. Okay. So, today what we are going to do is we will be doing a session. If there any group which is left to present, or if they want to present. Yeah. No. Okay, fine. So, students, okay, fine. There is somebody who's written something. Hi, ma'am. Okay, Kavita Computers. Okay, you can present the chat board and then we can start.
Hi everyone, my name is Vishal. I want to make a chatbot with car rental. First, I select bots and create a new bot here. I will give a bot name as a car rental. And description is optional. I will leave it as it is. And IAM permission is I create using basic Amazon Lex permission. Uh, Children Online Privacy Protection Act is no. And is here time for session timeout. I will leave that is 5 minutes. You want to change this, you can change here. Next. Here the language, I can select the language the English US if this is default language. And the description is optional, I leave as it is. Here the voice interaction. The voice interaction I choose the Jonna. And next one I will done. It is successfully created bot. Now I give to some intent details, intent name, give first. Again. Intent name is a current. I will if the content context are like optional, I will leave as it is. Simple utterances, I will add utterances like hi. And say next one. I want to book a car. And I will add it. The initial response is how. Okay, welcome to car rental. The advanced option is optional. I will leave it as it is. I will add the slots. Slot name is the car type. Here I choose the car type as alphanumeric, and question was what type of car you want to book. Add. Next one slot is pickup time, pickup date. Here I'm choose to the Amazon date, and the question was on which date do you book the car? And next slot is time. I choose the Amazon time. I'm staying your car. One more slide. Return time. We start with the return time. Return date. Sorry. I will select the Amazon date and on which time you want to on which date. Sorry. The car. These four slots are added, and next one is the confirmation. I will ask you the confirmation question. Can I ahead the tour? Request. If in case you are denied, okay, you will. You will not book the car. And is the fulfillment, unfulfillment, successful. If you are successful, the request is in case any any kind of problems, you write either something went wrong. Here is the closing response. I will add here. Thanks for using. Thanks for interacting us. And have a good day. Here is a complete and see I set some values. I set values for the car type, and car type is given to the two wheelers, two seaters. And next, next one is four seater. One more is here car type, five seater, and six seater. And last final is I will save this intent. Just take some time. Now I build this. The camera is here. I try one more time. complete this. It's successfully built. We can now test here. Hi. I want. Welcome to the car rental office. Want to type what type of car you want to book. I will select the two filters and enter unlisted and date. I will asking here date. Date is June 19. Here ask to the time. I will select the time of the 4 p.m. and which date you want to return a car. Return date time is 21 June 21. Can I go ahead with the request? Yes, I will give you permission to request you successfully. Thanks for interacting us. Have a good day. Can I go ahead with the voice, voice modulation? I refresh it. Hi, I want to book a car. There is some voice is taken wrong. I will try once more. Hi, I want to book a car. I I want to book a two-seater car. I will try once more. Two-seater car. So I'll try once more. Two-seater. So voice is not checking it correctly. Two-seater. And the date 19 June. Is that not take a date? I will once more try. June 19. Now I take the time on 4 p.m. Returning date is 21 June. Here's the 22 again. I will try once more. June 21. Yes, please. Yes, please go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Thank you, ma'am. I have completed my chatbot.
Okay, very nice, very good.
Thank you.
So, any other team is there? No? Okay, good work. So, my actually, I will keep my video off because I'm using the mobile data. Can you hear me? I think it will lag.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. The thing will be, it will go on and off because I'm connected through my mobile data. So because there's no light in my house, so electricity is gone and even the Wi-Fi is not working. So in between, it may go off. So please bear with me. So student, you have done a nice work. Each and every center has actually demonstrated a very nice, way to present the assignment, and you have presented also very well. That is something which actually they're expected from you, that how do you apply your knowledge to the real application. So I'm going to start today my session on use of AI or AI in cybersecurity. So where how do you use AI? So what happens here in this particular session, we will be there will be two set of group of the students who are learning AI. It will be helpful for them, and also it will be helpful for the students who have taken cybersecurity. Okay, so just give me a few moments. I want to share the slide with you. Okay, so can you all see?
Yes, ma'am, I can. We see.
Yes, ma'am.
Just give me a few seconds. Okay, can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. So the session today is based on the role of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. Okay. So cyber AI is used in each and every field, but how do we use AI in cybersecurity? How do we use the power of artificial intelligence and predict something? You know, AI is all about not as working on a structured method or standard operating process and give you something which a person which manually also you can do. AI can go beyond that and can predict certain kind of intrusion and help the cybersecurity professional. So let's start with this. So you all know that there is a rise in cyber attack, which is basically making the company and the organization focus more on AI based security products. So there is a huge global demand for AI based cyber security products. And it is estimated that the almost all the companies are focusing on investing a huge amount of their revenue in developing cybersecurity product using AI. And this is going to be reaching to $133.8 billion by 2030, which was just $14.9 billion last year. So the hackers are also taking advantage of that, because if there is a new system developed, obviously these cyber criminal people are also very tech savvy. So they find a loophole and they try to develop a solution to break that, okay, security zone, and enter using certain kinds of loopholes. So AI generated, for example, phishing mails have higher rate of being opened than manually crafted phishing emails. So AI is not only used by cybersecurity professional, but it is also used by cyber criminals now. So cyber criminals, like I told you in the last class, one case which I was discussing, where I told you that how US recently was had a kind of a AI build, fake news which came up with somebody's fake video, and people believed it the truth. So the time has come when the cyber criminal people are also using AI to create those kinds of cyber crime products. And so they are also moving ahead. And also, so it is very important that first you should see the threat or the cyber crime from the lens of the cyber criminal, and then only you can develop a solution. So the phishing mail which were generated manually by the cyber criminals, now they are using AI, and within a few minutes they can do that. So there's an increased number of attack, uh, which can be, a distributed denial of service, DDoS attack. It can be a data breach, or many of them, which actually cause a huge damage to the organization. So every organization, whether it is a IT organization or non-IT organization, any organization, big or small, or big organization, MNC companies, who are looking for cybersecurity professionals. And even it is not only the cybersecurity professionals who are working alone, these are the AI professionals also who are coming together and coming up with a more sophisticated solution, where AI power is used to develop a cybersecurity solution for any kind of attack or predicting what can be the next. So let's look into some statistic before we go ahead with what the companies are doing. Okay, our focus will be more on that concept, that how companies are doing. But before that, we should know what's the scenario, what is happening. So AI and cybersecurity is gaining a lot of attention in the past year, few years. And last few years, like 5 to 6 years, almost all the organization want the cybersecurity professional to be well equipped with AI, or maybe they should work in collaboration with AI professionals. So cybersecurity risk, before it occurs, now the demand is that cybersecurity professionals should able to predict it. Okay, so they should be able to predict, okay, these kinds of things are there. So it is more about prevention than reaction. That means that every organization want to be proactive to find out if there is an attack going to happen, and they should be ready to face that, and they should be ready to deal with it before any loss has happened. They don't want any kind of a loss. So there's a latest report by a verified market researcher which suggested that the market size for AI and cybersecurity will stand for $7.58 billion in 2022, which is already gone. So this is a research which is already done, and it is expected, and this has come truth. And also it is expected that it will reach 80.83 billion in 2030. That means that is a kind of investment, and that's a kind of collaboration which will be needed to develop cybersecurity solution using AI. So, for instance, about 93.67% of the malware which is observed in 2019 now could modify its resource and will make very difficult for people to detect it, because their cyber criminals are using AI to develop malware. Initially, when it was manually developed, it was a easy task for a cybersecurity professional to, just do the source code, or detect it at least. But today it is not. It is becoming really, really difficult. That is a rate of that is 93.67% failure time by cybersecurity professional to detect a malware and to modify or to kill that particular source. And also, it is said through the research that 53% of the consumer PCs and 50% of the commercial computers are reinfected with malware even after it has been detected and recovered. So that's a kind of a impact AI has, and how the AI is used by cyber criminals. So it is a high time that cybersecurity professionals should be equipped with AI knowledge and should use it. There's an increased number of cyber attack now in the international community, and that is a reason why cybersecurity professionals are required to use AI and detect this before and prevent it. So there was a survey which was done by Economist Intelligence Unit, and it said that 48.9% of the global executive and leading security companies believe that AI and machine learning are best equipped for countering modern cyber threat. And there is also one law firm, Pillsbury, very big law firm in US. They are also focusing on technology, and 44% of these, okay, are exact feeling that AI can easily detect any security intrusion very fast, and it is very reliable. Even the Microsoft has a division on cybersecurity. Every company has. So they have a Microsoft has a program called Microsoft Cyber Signal. You can always go and research and see those on the Microsoft site. They'll give you a lot of information about their research or about their projects. Every IBM, Microsoft, you should keep on going to their sites. So Microsoft Cyber Signal program uses AI to analyze 24 trillion security signals. That means threat signals. And 40 nation state group and 140 hackers group to detect these malicious activity, to detect all kinds of weakness or loopholes which can be exploited by the cyber criminal. So this is how this is the scenario which is happening, and why the knowledge of AI or collaboration or integration of AI in cybersecurity development tool is necessary. Now, all of us know that what is AI. So, a little bit about that before we go ahead. So, you all know by now that AI is a replica of natural intelligence possessed by a human being. So, it tried to mimic the intelligence possessed by the human being in machines. So, we can acquire stored knowledge, we can do reasoning on that stored knowledge, we can also take cue from the environment, and like just like our sensory organ in our body, which is our input system, like eyes, ears, skin, tongue, all those kinds. And finally, based on our collective learning, we take rational decisions. We can even solve complex and conflicting situation. AI has proven themselves in replicating the human intelligence in the similar way, the way natural intelligence work. So the natural intelligence, AI demands the artificial intelligence, which demonstrate the intelligence by machine, is growing now, is developing very fast in every field, not only in any field. So artificial intelligence machine is mimicking the full-fledged cognitive behavior of human. So initially what used to happen, you all have seen a lot of movies and you can relate it to me, that whenever you see a web series on a cyber crime or maybe any kind of a crime, you might have seen that it is not it are there are so many out of box thinking which the police or the CBI does. A lot of cognitive, lot of intelligence is required to understand and to see unseen things, right? To solve a particular case. So how do we mimic that cognitive behavior of human into the AI that is still progressing? It is still not fully full-fledged developed, but the development in AI is also focusing towards a cognitive behavior of human to solve these criminal cases, to understand the pattern in the crime, to understand the mind of a criminal. So the science and engineering community are actually developing and progressing in that, doing a lot of research. So when we approach AI to solve common industry and security problem, we refer to creation of intelligent agent, okay, which I told you. So an intelligent agent is what? It is a machine, a software or a system that maximize the probability of goal completion by sensing, learning, and acting. By sensing the threat, learning what kind of threat, and acting on it. For example, a commonly used, so this is what I said, that intelligent agent goal is to basically sense, learn, and act. So that is what is used in the cyber security. So let's take an example. So the example of a household floor cleaning robot, which we see now in India also, we have these kinds of system. So the household floor cleaning robot exhibit a general intelligence, like just us, right? So for the task it is assigned, it will perform those tasks of cleaning and doing everything on a particular time, and it does everything, removing of stains and all. So there's no hardcore intelligence required in that. Okay. But for the task it is assigned to perform, which is a course of cleaning, an AI enabled robots can sense its surrounding, create a map, okay, of the surrounding, okay, not this. So create a map of the floor and learn to make corrections. That is the AI. Why we should use AI in the cleaning robot? Just like a maid who will see, okay, there's a new furniture added now, and this furniture is movable or not. Can we move and remove the dust from there? Or if it is not movable, so how do we clean? So there can be a new thing in the environment which is sensed by these AI enabled robots in the household, and they create a map. They understand the change in the map, which is not regular. So regular cleaning, regular map, regular rooms with regular furniture, it will do regularly. But if there is a change in the room structure or in the furniture or in the setting, interior setting, it will again sense that change in the map and try to include those changes. So that's an AI. So it's a straightforward example of AI. So we now, as we know that this particular session is about role of AI in security and what is the current state of information security. So there are a lot of new security breach and loss of confidential data we hear in the news every day. And also we wonder how the world, the organization, big organization who has so much of resources, so much of business intelligence data, uh, are, you know, becoming a prey to these cyber criminals. So Sony company, even the Netflix, even the eBay, there are net examples, Citibank, big companies, how they are becoming a prey to this. So isn't it they are, because these are all IT companies also, most of them. So how it is possible that these companies are not able to solve this cyber threats? So our society and technology environment is completely evolving. Similarly, the technology related to cyber security is also easily evolving. There was a time when, the company used to think that let's migrate our data, mostly financial data, or it can be a hospital migrating their health record, or any kind of a social interaction data, any kind of a data on the cloud. Maybe you also think sometime that in order to keep my data safe, like my pictures, my files, my documents. Let me move it to the cloud. Okay. So that in the cloud, I am being provided a security by a third party, by cloud service provider. So I don't have to bother about it. I don't have to do it. So that is a migration which is 90% of the world or the organization is doing that. They are migrating. But how these cloud computing companies are facing this particular, but see, you can migrate your data and you can store it with security. What about your work process? You can't migrate that. Even if you're migrating also, most of the work process, you have to keep it with you. And we are living in the world of a sensor now, industrial IoT devices now, and so many things, so many computers in the form of a grid, which is connected, okay, to each other. So enterprises have Internet of Things. They are okay. They are looking into cloud migration to secure the data. Digitization of personal information is happening. Everything is happening. So there's a storm which is resulting in a massive explosion of the volume of data the organizations are required to protect now. Each and every second, huge volume of data is getting generated. So the question comes, how do you protect that? What is the traditional and the modern approach? The traditional approach in terms of security professional applied earlier to protect their data are now under stress. And there is a huge demand on security professionals to come out with a new solution to do prediction, to predict before the threat hits them, that our system is going to get attacked, or there should be a symptom which they should be able to realize before the damage has happened. After the damage has happened and then the view cure, already a data is lost, already a lot of money is lost by the company. So the question which we are going to answer, or which a particular, which this session is going to try to answer is, can artificial intelligence assist you in protecting a company critical assets? Okay. So let's look into the artificial intelligence role in security. So artificial intelligence enable you to create and leverage intelligent agent, which I told you, which will do what? Sense, create, and act. Okay. So an intelligent agent has been previously trained to solve a particular security problem. Okay. For example, it can identify the weakness in millions of lines of code software engineers have written. It can, or it can identify abnormalities in the user logins, and even spot a malware which for which the signature does not even exist. So behind the scene, intelligent agent shift through the massive amount of data and learn from all those data, variety of data, to identify unusual pattern. Or maybe they can identify a normal pattern, expected pattern, and if there is a slight change, they can detect that. So when a trained intelligent agent is put into line of defense, it put what it has learned into action by analyzing the incoming data that the agents have never seen before. Okay. Okay. So what it does is basically the uh, intelligent agent will look for those abnormality in the incoming data. If the incoming data are common, regular, which matches the normal pattern, then it doesn't have any doubt. But if there is a kind of uh, abnormality in that, change in that, then it should get come in and allowed. So that is how an artificial intelligent agent can help a security professional. So it does so by one or more of three mechanisms. First, it uncover the data pattern that would have been extremely difficult for human mind to analyze. It then again what it does, it classifies or categorize the data and present the pattern to the security professional to assist the analysis. So as I said, there are one or two or more three steps. First, it try to identify the data pattern. which is normally can't be analyzed by the mind of the people, and classify or categorize the data and present the pattern to the security professional to assist in analyzing. The more advanced intelligent agent goes one step ahead. What it does, it makes recommendation. The first normal intelligent agent will only detect the abnormality and see the unmatched pattern, irregular pattern of the data, and give you an alert. But more advanced intelligent agent can go one step ahead. You can create, it will give you recommendation to the security professional about what action can be taken. And now the companies are progressing toward creating the most advanced form of an intelligent agent, which can also take corrective action instead of just suggesting on behalf of security professional, so that it can mitigate those security issues. So the obvious reason you apply artificial is intelligence is to minimize the occurrence of the security breach, and also I have, those slides are not coming up, but anyway, you can listen to me. So it does not mean that you will rip apart the current security fabric of your organization and say that I will just go ahead and I will replace everything and I will make a AI powered tool, security tool. Your organization already has a competence and experienced security team. Your organization has already established security policy. You have a team, security team of many security tools that are being keeping your assets, your data, your intellectual property protected. So, in fact, artificial intelligence argument that your current people, process, and tools should be supplemented by the AI, should be enhanced by the AI. It doesn't tell that you remove the old process. Don't use the old security because you've already invested in that. It just enhances the ability of that. So it has the potential to do the entire continuation of your old traditional security system and add prevention, detection to response. So what artificial intelligence does, it will add on a capability to your present security tools and procedures and rules, and help in prevention of the security breaches, detection of security. Okay, sorry, just now I lost the connection. Just give me a minute. I'll share the screen again. Can you all see the screen? Can anybody
Yes.
tell me?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine. Okay. So, as I was telling you that when you basically scan the environment or the source code for any kind of a threat. It for fewer false positive, and it also help in discovering any kind of a security bugs. Okay, before they deploy their application to a production environment. The process of threat modeling, okay, that is typically done at the architectural and design state for engineer to discover a potential threat. And also the threat modeling has been a manual process initially, and it continued to be an area that still requires security engineers to become more creative and knowledgeable. So it is still developing the threat modeling process. AI and threat modeling is still an area of research, and it is evolving. So area where artificial intelligence is already being made a successful attempt is in detection external security threats that can harm your organization resources. So many off the shell, that means customized product with AI capabilities, are available today that can supplement your current approach to help in identifying or detecting malware, intrusions, the user behavior anomalies. Another area where AI is used by security professional is to responding to the threat. Advanced AI solution also help you in giving you a solution how you can deal with that particular threat, what can be done. So the main thing where the three ways the AI can help the security professionals: one is prevention, the second is detection, and the third one is in response. Okay, the response to the kind of a thing. Because what happens sometimes, the context is different, right? The context of your understanding of the situation can be different. I'll give you example of that. And automatically mitigating the security. This is a video which I've taken from IBM website. And so IBM security, cyber security products. So one of the IBM employees talking about that. So you can just watch that and understand. Just give me a second. Okay, there is a problem. Maybe I can run that video separately. It's not running from the slide. Let me try again one more time. Okay. So don't running, I will run it lately, and I will after the presentation is over, I will show you that. So let us also understand what are the disciplines used in cybersecurity. So machine, which are artificially intelligence, should have 6 fundamental capabilities to help the cybersecurity professionals. Okay. And what are these 6 capabilities? These 6 capabilities is should be, and this six capability, whether a machine has this, all know about Alan Turing and the Turing test. Maybe you've learned about it. So the Turing test basically try to understand just okay, sorry about that. So Alan Turing test, it should pass. Okay. And the total Turing test by Stephen Hawking. So the 6 capability or disciplines which a particular AI machine should possess in order to understand, or in order to be helping the cybersecurity professionals are these. The first one is understanding. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Ma'am, your voice is
Okay, just a
breaking
minute.
and
I'll
lagging
just
between.
try to change my. Okay, fine. Just a minute. Just give me a second. Give me a few seconds. I'll just try to change my network. Yeah, can anybody tell me? Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay, fine. Change my network. Let me try out.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I was telling you that a particular machine which has AI and should have these 5, 6 capabilities to help cybersecurity professionals. And these capability is to ability to understand the natural language processing, which is NLP, the natural language spoken or written by another human being, ability to store and process information, ability to reason out, ability to learn from new information, ability to see and perceive objects in the environment, and finally, the ability to manipulate and move physical objects. So while some advanced agent may possess all these kinds of 6 capabilities, which are used by cybersecurity professionals, in order to reap the benefit out of it, but not necessary that the companies who are using the AI machines having all these 6 capabilities. For example, if you are building, or so it means that it's not necessary that you require all 6 capability. It will be good if you have all 6 capabilities, but if you have few of them, then also it is going to be helpful. So let's take an example. Let's say that if you are building or deploying an AI based network intrusion detection system. So you're making an AI powered network intrusion detection system. And the system does not need, so this particular system does not need the ability to see or physically manipulate objects. So that particular discipline is not required, but it should have an ability to store, process, and learn from enormous amount of network logs. On the other hand, an AI powered surveillance robot watching the entrance of a data center, which is placed like Google data center, or every company's data center, physically data center, wherever it is located, and you have a AI powered camera or security surveillance robot, then they are watching the data center's entrance, must have the ability to see and distinguish between a person from a wandering deer. Why I'm saying deer or animal? Because these all data centers in the outskirt of cities, especially near a forest and all these kinds of area. Another one reason is for security also. Another is the government regulation. So So if there is a deer which is walking across the fence and is a person, it should not give a false alarm that deer is there and it's a person who's trying to intrude into and try to come, crossing your fence. So a deer will not do that. So it should have the ability to distinguish between a person and a deer. So that is said that it has a at a minimum artificial intelligence system, minimum artificial intelligence capability, which is employed in the field of security. So some kind of a minimum common capabilities should be built into these intelligent security tools. And one of the common capability which every security tool should have is to store, process large volume of data, because the data only help them in understanding the future abnormality in the pattern. More data you provide, more accuracy it will have. So they can store and process large volume of data. In the field of securities, this data is usually in the form of logs from network devices, workstations, and API calls, and so on. So they can identify the pattern in the data. One more example, they can determine, for example, that a user log in every day between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. from a Pacific time zone. And automatically the machine learns from this new information. Okay. Now, example, if they notice there is a change in the login time or maybe the login place. As I said that the user normally log in every time from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Login time, I'm sorry, I'm not saying logout time. And the location can be the Pacific time zone from where the user login. Now they notice a change that the same user now connects using a VPN from a home location on every Friday. So that means the user is going and spending his weekend, and Friday he goes to his house. Till Monday to Thursday, he works from the office, which is in Pacific time zone, and he comes to the office between 8 to 9 p.m. and logins. That's a usual pattern. But on Friday, he goes to his house and connects using a VPN from his house location. So what it does, make a recommendation or take a action. So what it does is basically it tries to understand the usual pattern or the logs. And if there is a change in this usual pattern, for example, on Friday, instead of logging, if he's logging from the office, the Pacific zone, it is okay. Or in a certain days between Monday to Thursday, if you log in from the house using the same VPN, it is identified, and there's no alert system given. But there is a sudden change that the user is logging from some other location, which is unusual, and other login time, then there is an alert which can be set, which is very normal thing for a cloud practitioner to identify and access the risk code. So basically, every system will come up with the sign-in risk codes. And based on the security policy, automatically it will block the login. Okay, immediately it will block the login. So it is not only about detection and alert, students, it is also about the company policy. What action can be taken? That policies and procedure need to be fed into the system. That if the person is allowed to log in from 2 locations at a particular time, if they log in from the third situation, which is not registered in the login file, then and the policy says that it has to be blocked, then it will be blocked. So, or maybe sometimes the policy of the companies is to come up with the 2-factor verifications, right? So it depends on the kind of a pattern, the relationship among the data, which make the system block and take action according to the procedures. So this is one thing which we need to learn, that it adapts. Though AI, if it is built into the cybersecurity tool, it basically adapts to the environment. It takes a new pattern into the consideration and try to put that as a regular pattern. It incorporates new data. It take actions, make recommendations, make predictions, and sometimes even take a corrective action. Just like I told you, it can block the user depending on the policies and the procedure of the company. Or if it is not allowed to do that, it will give a recommendation, or it will identify or predict that particular change in the regular login pattern to a particular department about it, and let the IT department or manually the action can be taken. So among all the discipline of AI, the discipline of learning is the major milestone, or it's a major thing which every cyber security tools need to adopt. So ability to learn from the input data relies that how the security system, uh, from the limitation of the programming or rule based approach, whatever it is, take the data and relearn. So the programming is one approach, which is a rule based approach. And the second approach is learning from the data, the variety of data, and new learning. So for example, again, if we consider the cleaning robot, okay, in the previous, slide, the how the cleaning robot basically understand a new change in the map of the rooms. Suppose if you build a stairs now in between two rooms, and it understands that's true, or you put up a table, so it understands the map changes, bring those changes. So similarly, a security tool with the AI does those kinds of changes, incorporate those kind of changes, and make it as a regular pattern. Okay, so in case of AI powered malware detection system, it is, see, when we say programming, it is a structured program. Normally, the traditional approach of cybersecurity professional is to come up with a structure program. Structure program means that you have a well-defined solution and you develop a coding for that. But there is a possibility that there can be a new system, a new intrusion, new kind of threat which can evolve in the system. Then what do? There can be a possible variation which is not possible for a programmer and a coder to code it in a program and a structured programming. So in case of AI powered malware detection system, it is not pre-programmed with list of virus signature. Rather, data scientists train the malware detection system to identify program execution patterns, which are not normal. So how exactly is the learning approach different from a traditional structured programming approach followed by the cybersecurity professional? In traditional programming approach, a software engineers identify all possible inputs and the conditions that a software will be subjected to. Then create a software program that is able to handle those and only specific input conditions. That is a structured program. So if the program received an input that is not designed and that is not well suited for the program or well accepted by the program, it will fail to handle that situation. Okay. So nothing wrong with this. Normally, most of the companies deal with those kinds of programs. So most of the software program developed today follow a traditional programming approach only in many companies. The cybersecurity program I'm talking about. For example, if you're searching for security threat by combing through HTTP or SQL server logs in programming approach, your security scanners will continuously look for a parameter that are not within the limit that are hard coded into the program by the programmers. So the intelligence of the security scanner is bonded by your ability to foresee the possible combination of inputs and their ranges and put it into the structured programming. But on the other hand, where we use, so this is a traditional approach, which I said, where all the inputs is known by the programmer, and the programmer should have an ability to foresee certain kinds of input which can be, and he can put that. He writes a kind of a programming codes and generate a software which can deal with those specific input which can comes. But what is the latest approach which we are talking with the help of AI? This is called learner-based approach. Okay, not a traditional approach. This is a learner-based approach. So you and your data scientist team first identify a training data, which could be a source code. It can be a source code, it can be a log file, it can be a program execution context. Next, what do? You feed these data to machine learning models. Okay. And these machine learning models, you're feeding those data, right? And your objective is to train the model, this machine learning model, on the data you have in the hand. And at the end of successful training with the machine learning, you arrive at the best fit model. So what happens? This become an AI powered software. And this AI powered software is not looking for a specific input. It will look for an input which can match approximately to the input which is fed to train the model. Are you able to understand? Remember the session where I have shown you with a table machine how you can classify between dogs and mops. But if there is a dog which looks like a mop, how do you identify that? So you identified with certain common features which will be common in all kinds of security threats. There will be some uncommon things, unlike matching in the input which you have to identify. So AI powered tools are just trained with the known input data. The model get trained, and any unknown input which comes or unknown threat which comes, it try to relearn and try to see whether this input or the new input, which is not very specified input, has some threat or not and can detect some threat or not. So this is the AI, the difference between AI and all. So let's see how many of you can answer this. What's the most effective and least expensive? You can write in the chat box. Okay, I'll read it. What's the most expensive and least expensive way to protect your organization from security breach? What is the answer? Prevent security vulnerability, learn security vulnerability, fix, or detect security vulnerability. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just write 1, 2, 3, 4. Which answer is the best answer? Three. Okay. So the answer is prevent security vulnerability. I'm talking about AI. Okay. So AI, what does it does? It basically try to prevent the security vulnerability. So typically AI agent, intelligent agent has what? 3 fundamental capability, 10, 6, or foundational capabilities which are not required at all. Yes. How many fundamental capabilities a particular artificial intelligence should have? Ideally should have. The first option, second option, third or fourth? Yes. So it should be a 6 fundamental capability they should have. Okay. So those are the principle of building your AI powered tools. So data scientists trained malware detection system to identify program execution patterns that are not normal. What is this an example of? The application form design, discipline of learning, intelligent agent learning, or traditional programmer. I told you about what is a traditional programming approach and what is a learning model approach. Okay, let's see the answer. Yes. So that is an intelligent agent machine. Correct. The answer is correct this time. So let's move to the other one. Let me see the timing. Okay. So now till now I told you the basic, that what is the AI machine, powered machine, what should be the approach and all these. let's learn certain tools. The first one is end-to-end security framework. So how do you apply AI to solve some complex security problem? Let's talk about that. Okay. So regardless of whatever these are the certain courses you can do. So regardless of whatever industry, small scale, big scale, manufacturing, service, or whatever industry you are doing, or whatever nature of business you have, but all of them have the same common security problems and objectives. So I'm going to tell about the foundational concept as a stepping stone into the terminologies which can be used later in the session, or maybe if I'm not able to complete the session, maybe the next session. Okay. So now your organization security process or policy or control try to achieve three objectives. Any organization, whatever industry or whatever is the nature of your business, wanted to achieve through their security solution three objectives. And what are those three objectives? Confidentiality. To ensure that your data and assets are protected from unauthorized access. And the second one is the integrity objective. Integrity object means that the data and the assets are not altered or edited or modified by unauthorized people. The availability is the third objective. Availability ensure that the access to the data and resources remain accessible by the user, authorized user, uninterrupted. That means it should be continued. They should be able to, the availability of data should be continuously available to them whenever it is required. Now, it may not come across that the certain kinds of other things are not required, but these are the three major objectives to be achieved through the thing. So let us illustrate my point by taking one extreme example. So when you turn off the power supply and log the entrance of your data center, can you achieve the goal of confidentiality and integrity 100%? Because why do develop a coding and solution or security? Why do you need a cyber security professionals when you can just do a simple task, a manual task? Whenever you feel there is a threat, you turn off the power supply, you lock the entrance gate of your data center, and you have a lot of security professional which is employed. Will you get 100% security back? So what is happening? If you do that, you may get certain extent the security confidence. You can maintain the confidentiality and integrity, but you are going to make your data and your resources unavailable to your client and your organization. Ultimately, it is harming your business. So this is not the solution. You cannot have a physical defense. We provide a defense at a various level: administrative, physical, and technical level. Technical level is where the security professionals, cyber security professional comes into picture. Administrative level is the management level when they make the security policies and procedures. And then comes the the physical level where you employ or you hire a security professionals, security guards, security cameras, infrastructure you put all across to monitor and to frisk people who are coming, who is assessing, check them, guards and all those kinds of security, or fences with electricity so that nobody can enter into your data center. But technical security is most important than physical and the administrative security. So security is actually everybody's responsibility, not only the responsibility of the cybersecurity professional. So the framework which a company basically try to achieve is defensive and offensive technology. Okay. So security is everybody's responsibility. So how do you apply security control which can help preventing security attack from happening in the first place? That's why I said prevention is most important than curing the security threat. So none of the preventive control are perfect in this world today. Sooner or later, you will find signs of internal and external threat in your enterprise's information. You want to able to detect those activity as quickly as possible before it create any damage. So very important, the process is prediction. So prevention, detection, and after see, prevention is better. You can detect, prevent, and there can be a response. This all comes into loop from a feedback, and this feedback can be fed into the form of a data to train the model with AI, and you can generate AI powered cybersecurity solution using that. Okay, so now every attack in the network is so severe, and it caused a lot of damages to the companies, that the companies are basically looking for cyber security professionals. Those cybersecurity professionals who have the knowledge of developing AI-powered cybersecurity solutions to prevent AI threats, to predict AI threats, prevention and prediction. These are the two major things which the professional should be able to do. As per the National Initiative Cybersecurity Education in 2019, US alone has faced, more than 2019, attack in, and I'm talking about these attack in the MNC company, IT companies. And there is a shortage of more than 3,14,000 professionals. Only in US I'm talking. So there is a requirement that the cybersecurity professionals are well trained with the AI solution so that they can be used in the companies. So there's a huge opportunity for you people. The attackers are attacking the organization, and their intellectual property, their confidential data, all are at the risk. Every time it is at the risk. So as a cybersecurity professional, it is your job to ensure that information and asset of your companies are well protected and secured. And in order to do so, you depend on certain crucial information. The information that is buried in the petabytes of what? The logs, okay? The network packets, the file generated every second by almost every devices or software in your corporate network. And regardless of how much you are doing with this, or you are allocating your number of hours on these, it is essential for you to shift through this data to prevent potential breach. So major challenges, not detection, prevention and prediction. So huge amount of data is required, which is also generated, which can help, and also trying to establish a relationship between these data to help in preventing and predicting. So you monitor your data 24/7 yourself. You also rely on certain kinds of different tools to identify a sign of suspicious activities, but these tools may have certain kind of limitation, maybe in their program, or maybe it is based on rule-based approach, okay, traditional approach to handle these kinds of massive data. So let's take an example, just a typical example. I'll just go to the slide. Let me go to the slide first. Okay, let's take an example. A typical homeowner who worries about potential intrusion by a thief. Okay, so you are hired as a security professional, and you have to worry about the intrusion by the attacker in your enterprise's network. So what does a homeowner who leaves his house for a long time, and he worries that how can I protect my house from the attackers or from the thief? So what he does, he hires a security company who guard his house externally by placing a home guard who will look at externally for any thief or something who can enter into the house. Or maybe they can put a camera inside the house, outside the house, and watch. and prevent the attackers and all. Similarly, you as a security professional have the same role. Your role is to guard the organization from external environment. Internally also, you have to guard your, the corporate or your enterprises from internal insider threats. It can be from a employee also. So you are not only guarding your house or your enterprises from outside so that there is no intrusion, but you're also guiding as a cybersecurity professional from inside. So your goal is to allow only desirable traffic to your network, identify and stop the unwanted traffic. A well-known solution in the industry for this problem is to deploy an intrusion detection system. Okay, so you can apply an intrusion detection system, which is also called IDS. So there are two types of IDS. Network intrusion detection system that monitor the traffic pattern from entire network ability, and the host intrusion detection system that monitor a particular machine, so your workstation or your server, for any kind of abnormalities. So IDS constantly, continuously scan your network packets and log data, look for signature by using a pattern machine approach. And by the way, this signature in this context is well-known pattern in the packet flow, a binary code which is malicious or which is suspicious. So if IDS fail to find a signature, which is a protection, the signature does not, even in a worst case, the signature is not detected at all. It does not exist all in the database. So it fails to catch intrusion, and there can be an attack which can remain undetected also sometimes, and most of the time it happens in the organization. And the kind of traffic and the log which generate in the enterprises is huge, huge. Okay, so let us see how you can, deal with these kinds of challenges. Just a cybersecurity professional can do a good job in finding incidences such as brute force attack, denial of services. These approach need to look through large amount of data over a time. Also, you need to consider many sources of data, not only one source. Varieties of attribute and feature which I've listed here in the slide. Some of the example of these features are the protocol being used, like IP addresses, whether the packet contain a script or not, or so on. As you can see, the approach increase as the amount of data the algorithm need to continuously scan through, because maybe your company is expanding in the business, so you may have the scale of your data, the amount of data will keep on increasing. Okay, it may scale up. So the response of your security solution should not slow down because of scaling of the data, and it should not come out also with an incorrect match. So when you apply IDS tool that leverage artificial intelligence, instead of searching for a regular pattern, they're effectively creating a predicting model behind the scene. And you do so by training on a data on these features, certain features which are regular in nature. And finally, you arrive at trained model that uses only the feature that absolutely necessary to detect an abnormality. Like I just gave you certain features here, protocol, source IP, destination, some script, time of the day, or something like that. You can also deploy using AI a trained predicting model, which will let the incoming log and traffic data monitored continuously and pass through this model to make the model more accurate. So the deployed model determines if there is a new event which is unusual, where there is an intrusion. Okay, let me see the timing. Okay, I'll just take one more slide, and then I will continue this in the other slides. So basically, this is what I told you, that AI training model basically help in taking all the inputs and training with those varieties and huge amount of input, what it does, it trains and come out with a predicting model using AI, deploy that model and detect the intrusion as soon as it happens before it causes the damage. Okay. So this is one thing which we do. Now, regardless of whether you are a security professional or you are an HR, you are a marketing executive, security is a problem of everyone. You have, and all of the people have a objective of stopping the leakage of confidential data. And that is very important. Basically, your customer data. Competitors are always looking for what you're doing. And they're always looking for a means of accessing your confidential data. And always it's a possibility, most of the time it happens that it's an insider job. The people who are working in the organization do this work. Okay. So how do you ensure that employee of your organization is not passing intentionally or selling your data? Or maybe sometime it may happen that accidentally they send a confidential information to some unauthorized recipient. In this case also you are losing the data, or the data is being shared by someone whom you don't want to share. So some common example are like when the employee are disgruntled. Okay. Disgruntled means that if an employee is unhappy, if the employee the reason can be sometime the email, so when the employee is unhappy, they may do some kind of a harm. Maybe one of the occasion I remember, it's a real case in a company where the employee was really unhappy with the new policies which has come up, where they have to report to the office every day instead of 2 days in a week. So what the employee did, it sent a mail to everybody informing about the upcoming merger, and creating a panic among the employees, saying that the job will be lost. And also there was an incident which I remember where someone has just accidentally uploaded a business file into their own personal cloud folder, which was accessible by their family members who were working in the different competitor organization. So sometimes even sharing your information, like you have seen the CBI professional, police professional, also not sharing their information with their own, family members. They don't tell them. Okay. There was a movie by Ajay Devgan where there was a murder which accidentally get conducted. He even didn't tell his wife about where the body was buried, because he had a kind of a suspicion. He trusted his wife, but at the same time he knew that my wife may get weak certain time and can be influenced by somebody to get that information, which will put everybody in trouble. So to solve this insider problem, you have to deploy something called, which you have to deploy a method to prevent this data loss, and that method is known as DLP. So DLP solution, okay, which is called deployed data loss. Okay, loss prevention solution, data loss prevention solution. So DLP solution look for a sign of confidential data crossing the trust boundary of the organization. If it suspect an activity, it will block the transmission, notify the staff. Traditional DLP software, which without AI, does what? How do you do that? Can you do manually? No. How do you do it? The DLP traditional software used to use a method of text matching approach. I will give you example after this. Text matching approach will look for a fingerprint or a pattern against a set of predetermined word or phrases and set an alert. To get it right, it can really become very, very hard to understand. If there is a new word, you can't crack it. So if you set a DLP threshold to high, it will begin restricting even genuine message also. For example, I'll just give you one example over here. Let's take these two email from a CEO to your top customer. Sometimes it happens that the DLP, traditional DLP pin may block some very, very important messages also. Okay, so let's look at this example. There are two different employees at two different departments of medical facility. They send out separate message to the external vendor. The message from the first employee contain a personal health record. The health record are basically in certain countries, especially in United States, is governed by HIPAA law, and you have to handle this with confidentiality and privacy policy. It is not like your health record should be shared or can be accessed by somebody. So that is one thing. The message from the second employee here, the second employee does not contain any personal information. It is just a request to place an order for an office item. If an employee of the organization were to read both these messages, they will instantly be able to determine one is very sensitive, the first one, okay, then the other, which is the second one. A traditional DLP solution that is just flagging sensitive data based on keywords or phrases or matching a text will be challenged to differentiate between two. Why? Because if you see these red colors, which I have done, culture stool, it is common here. Here it is written exam stool. Here also our culture and values. So these two words are flagging words, but both had a different context in these two messages. The first one is sensitive, this is non-sensitive. Okay. So human have the context while the traditional DLP does not. So what it happens, traditional DLP will stop both this. It stopped the first one, it understood because this is one which is, which is sensitive in nature, but the next one is not. But because of the matching of the word, which occurs in both the sensitive and non-sensitive messages, it will take that action, the same action on both the one. But as a human being, when you have to understand which message to be transferred, which not to be, you will understand because the context of these two messages, you will understand with your cognitive ability. So what is happening here is the unique thing is the context, which can be added in advance to a dictionary and made available to DLP for lookup. So the context must be determined on the spot, and to do so, DLP must be trained. So let us see now how an AI-powered DLP is trained and used to identify sensitive data based on context, not on words. Okay. So this is a model which is being developed for this example. So the machine learning model is now fed with multiple set of training data. Okay. And the first training set data includes words and phrases that must be protected, such as intellectual property, technical information, personal information, and so on. The second set include unprotected words that must be ignored, keeping in mind that the word and phrases that may be unprotected in one line of business may be protected in other line of business. And lastly, the model is fed information about the semantic relation among the word using a technique known as word embedding. So the model is now trained using the variety of these learning algorithms. Once the trained model is deployed on incoming new document, it is able to recognize the relationship and between the words and the context of the message, like in the previous case, which I'm continuing here. So the AI-based DLP finally assign a sensitivity or flag a sensitivity level to a document based on the context, just like a human being. So DLP make a decision to block the transmission and generate a notification, not based on word matching, but on the context. So the machine learning approach we discussed about does not replace the traditional approach, but rather works in conjunction. In addition to that, it enhances the system. Okay. So this is one example. I'm going to stop it here because already we are going to reach the timing. Okay. So students, if there is any doubt, we'll take up that doubt. We have 1 minute to go. You can ask me, or 2 minutes to go. Yeah, is there any question? We'll continue this because I have to continue with lot of them I have to continue with precision and accuracy, prediction, model. So there are a lot of videos also which I have to show you how the company. There are certain cases also which I have to show you. So the next session I will be going about regression, clustering pattern, anomaly detection, a lot of other things which we are going to learn with sample, with some cases. Okay. Some AI, use of AI by criminals also we will know how criminals are using AI. Okay, so that also we will learn in the next session. Okay, is there any question or should we wind up this out? Okay, then have a nice weekend. Bye to you all.